Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable, all of the committee, presenters, and participants, first of all, in this insightful session, allow me to thank for the opportunity that has given to us to present our article with title Susceptible, Vaccinated, Infected, Quarantine Recovered, SVIQR model, and its application to the COVID-19 in Indonesia. And this article will be presented in the second International Conference of Mathematics and Mathematics Education. And the second time, let me introduce the speaker and the author team. The speaker today, I am SITI OSMATUN KASANAH, and the author team, Dr. Purnami Widyaningsih, Magister of Applied Science, and Nughthoh Arfawi Kurdhi, SSC, MSc, PhD. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to move on to the main presentation. Infectious disease is disorder caused by organisms such as bacteria and etc. and can be passed by person to person directly or indirectly. The spread can be represented into a mathematical model like SIR model. The model divides the population into three: susceptible, infected, and recovered, and SVIR model adding V or vaccinated into the population. And then SIQR model adding quarantine or key in the population. The example is COVID-19 caused by SARS-CoV-2 and have symptoms like cough, fever, and etc. The spread of COVID-19 can by droplet or infected person's mouth or nose. And then the epidemiologist from the University of Griffith, Australia, Diki Budiman, and chief of WHO, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, predicting that the COVID-19 pandemic will be end in 2022. Prevention is vaccination in Indonesia, held on 13 January until now. To handling the disease, government doing quarantine or self-isolated to the person who get infected from COVID-19. The quarantine is aimed to decrease the death caused by COVID-19. Now we get SVIQR model, the spread of infectious disease, and we apply the model to the COVID-19 in Indonesia, knowing the pattern of distribution of and the relationship between the results and the implementation in the target of being free from COVID-19 by the end of 2022. In this article, the author aimed to formulating SVIQR model and applying the model to the COVID-19 in Indonesia. First, SIR model or SIR model introduced by Kermack and McKendrick, and then developing by Headcott, with assume like constant population, no migration, and recovered individual have permanent immunity. The dynamic population can be seen on the screen. And now the population is affected by three: birth and migration, but this model, SIR model by Headcott, ignoring the migration effect. And then SVIR model introduced by Liu et al. Adding a fee of vaccinated, the person who get vaccination, and in this model, the person who get 2 doses of vaccination COVID-19. So we adding assume vaccine effectiveness rate. And then the model is developing by Islam. We divide the death by 2 natural death and death by the disease. So we assume. And then we assume vaccine failure rate developing by Widyaningsih and Aryani in 2020. Next, SIQR model. Inside the model, we adding a quarantine or key is the person who get infected, and then quarantine in hospital or self-isolated in home. But in this model, we just focus on the person who quarantine in hospital. And then the model is developing by Nirwani and developing two by Liu and Zhao by adding assume that immunity is just temporary. So recovered individual can be going back to the susceptible individuals. I know we get the dynamic population of SVIQR model with parameters. And we applied to the COVID-19 disease in Indonesia with the data from Satgas COVID-19 and Kemenkes RI. We use daily data from 28 January until 11 January 2022. We use data from 28 January until 2 November, estimating the parameters. So we get the parameters and we apply to the model. So we get SVIQR model for the spread of COVID-19 in Indonesia. And then the data from 28 January, we used to be an initial value. And then the model and initial value, we solve using the fourth order Runge Kutta method to get the result. And the data from 3 November until 11 January, we used to checking the error. So we know that we get error, norm error is 1.792.339,45. The pattern of COVID-19 in Indonesia, we can see on the screen. The S and V have uptrend and I, Q, and R have a downtrend. We see on the screen too that there are still 9 cases of COVID-19 in Indonesia. SVIQR model, as we know, is a dynamic system. So may I say the dynamic system is said to be in equilibrium if there are no changes to the system all the time. And Dickman has a big adding that there are two kinds of equilibrium point. Those are the disease-free equilibrium point and the endemic equilibrium point. So from this, we want to know what kind of equilibrium point we have from the model. Using SVIQR model and parameter, also initial value, we get starting on the day at 1,416. The number of individual SVI, Q, and R had no chance or could be said to be balanced. With the value, so we get equilibrium point, and the kind is disease-free equilibrium point because there are no more infected individuals. Individuals' Indonesian target of being free from COVID-19 has not been achieved because there are still 9 cases active in Indonesia. So we do a simulation, knowing what shall we do to achieving the target. We simulating a contact rate and infection rate. We can see on the screen the number of individuals infected with COVID-19 with variation of value of beta. We know that in 30 and 31 December with the beta, like the screen, Indonesian have no infected individual anymore. So we get the result that if the contact rate value is lower, we can estimate that we can free from COVID-19. And then vaccination rate, the number of individuals infected with COVID-19 with variation value of alpha. We can see that on the 30 and 31 December, on that value of alpha, Indonesia can be free from COVID-19. So we can get a conclusion that we have a SVIQR model, and the model is a system of first order nonlinear differential equation. And then COVID-19 spread pattern in Indonesia, from the pattern viewer, we can know that the number of susceptible and vaccinated have uptrend, and the number of infected, quarantined, and covered have downtrend. And then interpreting of implementation result based on the model solution, there are still 9 active cases of COVID-19 in Indonesia, and so the target has not been achieved. Based on the simulation result of the parameter in model, if contact rate value is lower and vaccination rate is increased, so we can free from COVID-19 in Indonesia at the end of 2022. Well, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all what we can present in this session. I hope it will be useful for us, especially for all scientists and students. Thank you for the attention. Bye and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.